Yep. Lots of people out and about today.
You're right about that.
Aren't there? Guess what I got here today?
Road noise.
Yep. And I like watching.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah?
Could I let you in on a secret?
You love me?
Absolutely, Joe.
You know what I miss watching?
The Carolina Panthers. So you don't want any Lux and Bagels this week?
No,
What happened with you and Lux and Bagels? Somebody tell you your breath stink or something?
no, I just haven't wanted any in a while.
Okay. Maybe some
I like watching.
Carolina Panthers.
Guess where I get to go tomorrow? Guess where I get to go tomorrow?
Wake. Shit, it's 5 o'clock, Joe.
Oh.
And Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation at macfound.org.
This is All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Ari Shapiro.
And I'm Mary Louise Kelly. Senator Jack Reed, Democrat from Rhode Island, has a question for retired Air Force Lieutenant General Dan Kane. Quote, will he have the ability to speak truth to power? Senator Reed is the top Democrat on the Armed Services Committee, and he will get the chance to pose that question directly to General Kane during his confirmation hearings for the position of chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Kane is President Trump's pick to replace General C.Q. Brown, who was fired on Friday, along with several other top Pentagon officials. We're going to talk about the shakeup now with Frank Kendall. Until about a month ago, he was a top Pentagon official as Secretary of the Air Force. Secretary, welcome to All Things Considered.
Well, Mary Louise, it's good to be with you.
Hey, so to be clear, your departure was part of the regular turnover when a new administration takes over, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, as you well know, this is the highest ranking officer in the U.S. Armed Forces. They are appointed to serve 4-year terms. They also serve at the pleasure of the president. So it is within a president's powers to pick a new head of the Joint Chiefs, correct?
It is. I've never seen it done before quite this way. Normally, chiefs carry over from one administration to another very smoothly without any interruption. As far as I know, there was no reason not to do that in this case.
You have concerns about General Brown being fired. Just lay out for us what they are.
Sure. First of all, General Brown's one of the, if not the finest officer I've ever worked with. One of the things that stands out about the military services in the United States is the apolitical nature of all of our officer corps. And I've been through a lot of transitions, and I have seen in every case very smooth professional transitions where people, they adapt to the policies of the new team in charge, they follow orders as they should, and they give good advice.
I want to play a little bit of what this is Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who went on Fox yesterday and spoke about CQ Brown. Here's what he said.
I have a lot of respect for CQ Brown. I got to know him over the course of a month. He's an honorable man. Not the right man for the moment.
Hegseth has in past shared his view that the Pentagon needs to be purged of, and I quote, the woke stuff, and he said that doing so would start with firing CQ Brown, who I will note is black. How do you think, Secretary, that this may fit into the stated overt efforts by the Trump administration to scale back DEI?
I don't really understand the connection, quite frankly. I also don't understand the obsessiveness about wokeness, whatever that is. It's perfectly within the purview of a new secretary and president to change policies, and that's perfectly fine. And I think all the officers who serve would carry out those orders. It would be a lawful order. It would be no problem. There isn't much there to actually remove. There's a few hours of training a year. And again, I don't know what they mean by wokeness. I'm not sure what they mean by that at all. The impact of what they've done is to politicize these positions to a degree that I've never seen before. These officers serve apolitically. They are loyal to whoever's in power. They carry out their policies. And what's been created by doing this is an environment in which career officers suddenly have to worry about their political alignment.
And just to stay with the questions about wokeness, I hear you saying you don't even understand what that means. I think the Trump administration would argue that means diversity initiatives have been pursued at the expense of performance. In your long experience at the Pentagon, did you see that?
No, absolutely not. We did pay attention to disparities in the Department of the Air Force. We had some studies that were done under the previous Trump administration.
Yeah, honey.
Where are you?
Under the bridge on 51.
We're not eating a big dinner tonight, are we?
I'm cooking that steak.
Okay, but that's for Joey's sandwich and stuff, right? It's not for a dinner.
No, we eat whatever you want to eat. I want to eat some meat.
All right. Well,
And why are you asking?
Because I'm hungry for some reason early today, and I'm going to eat the leftovers from when we went out for lunch.
Okay, and there's the chicken in there.
Okay.
I fed dog.
I know he ate some.
I know he
Ate
did.
twice. All right. All right. I'll see you when you get home.
I'm going to the store right now, and I got a list of things that we need. Something come to your mind that we need?
No, you said we needed olive oil and rice.
I got the list with me. We need more distilled water.
Yeah. No, I don't think we need anything. Vegetables.
No, you're
Forget-
letting the ones we got in the refrigerator go rotten.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Down within the structure and remove the legal authorities that would constrain the behavior of the military, ensure that the military follows lawful orders, is very troubling to me.
Retired Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall, thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you, Mary Louise. Good to be with you.
There is a debate playing out in Greenland, sparked by President Trump's ambition to take the island. It's about power, sovereignty, and control. Those are also issues explored in an exhibit at a museum in Nuuk, Greenland's capital. Our co-host Juana Summers takes us there. The first thing I hear is the sound of a siren, the sound echoing through the room. There's a TV screen with a recruitment video in front of me. I read the subtitles aloud. And now,
As we sleep, the world is closing in. There is no use in hiding. But don't despair. There is a solution. Defend your country against the world invasion. Join the Greenlandic forces. The walls of this museum are covered with posters. There are olive green fatigues and military jackets with the logo of the Greenlandic Army. Greenland, though, doesn't have its own army. All of this is art, a collaboration between a Danish artist, Asmund Havstein Mikkelsen, and a Greenlandic artist, Anouk Sillis Hogue. So we're on the second floor of the exhibit now, and we're walking into this green, fairly modest tent where there's a video that showed what would have happened if we were enlisting in this fictional Greenlandic military. Let's listen. This exhibit is called Melting Barricades. We're seeing it today inside a big white-walled room in the Nuuk Art Museum. But these pieces are derived from this massive performance piece that was staged in the heart of the city.
Suddenly there was a whole military action in the center of Nuuk, and everybody was like, why are these people here?
This is Nivi Christensen, the museum's director. She said some people believed it was real.
The politicians actually called the Danish government to be like, why do you have a military action in the center of Nuuk? Why haven't you announced that there is a huge military? And they were like, we don't know, there wasn't supposed to be a military action.
This performance piece made the front page of newspapers in Greenland. Reprints of some of those newspapers are on the walls, along with images of the artists in military attire. They're driving around in a tank with the red and white Greenlandic flag billowing behind them. It would be easy to think that this is all the artist's response to President Trump's recent rhetoric, but this exhibit is actually more than 2 decades old. It was created in 2004.
So people have been coming in and have been reacting with like awe and with like, I think, bafflement as well. I think people have been like, what just happened? How could they sort of reflect on these issues back in 2004 and making it so relevant now, 20 years later?
The Nuuk Art Museum acquired the work last year.
And then, of course, the world happened, and Trump happened, and all of this militarization of Greenland just happened, and everything just became even more relevant in the context of this show than it was before.
There's also a map that imagines what it would be like if Denmark was part of the United States of Greenland. The artists have renamed parts of the country. It resembles Trump's decision to rename the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. We stop near a stretch of wall. I see some schematics hanging. One of them shows what looks like a kayak, but when you look closer, it's been rigged with weapons. The tip is full of grenades. Put simply, it's a suicide machine.
This is a suicide kayak. This kayak doesn't have a motor, so you can't just jump out of it and it wouldn't go anywhere, right? So you have to be in it. Of course, we didn't have a Department of Defense. We still don't have a Department of Defense. We don't have our own military. So this whole show became this like investigation of what does it mean to have a military and what does it mean to if you don't have it, and like what happens and what kind of values do we put into our society through military actions.
Greenlanders are raising real questions about their future and whether Denmark has done enough to keep them safe. Denmark controls Greenland's foreign policy and defense. The country recently announced a major increase in military spending for the Arctic. This exhibit was supposed to close to the public at the end of 2024.
But we decided to keep it there.
That's really cool.